my mobile. Besides, what's a good way to dive? Like ladders and stuff.
Dive ladders and stuff? A good way to dive. Well, Chef, I would first off suggest picking a good way to enter a dive. There's two distinct ways that I know of that people like to use. One would be the power loop into the dive, which is where you would go past it. So you would go underneath your dive. I don't know how high up this one is, so I'll overshoot it a little bit. But then you go into it that way. Those are really easy to enter because you're getting into a diving position and kind of an arc. So you can just add throttle where you need it to skim as close as you can and then get to the drop right there. And you just cut how far you're going with your throttle. You just add a little bit of throttle back in right over where you want to stop and go down. So it's kind of a timing game there. It's not so much like I'm not guessing where I'm throwing it. I'm throwing it in the same spot every time. I'm just throwing her backwards. And then I'm just cutting my throttle right about where I want. I'm just measuring by eye, though. This is not like a muscle memory thing. This is just doing it by eye. So just timing and finding where the drop is. So that's one way to enter. The other way is with a split S, which is usually the preferred way for me, just because you get a better look at the top of the dive. It's a lot easier to enter. It doesn't look as cool, but you would just split S up and over. And then same thing, but what I'm doing is I'm going past it. Here, I won't add any throttle. See, that's what normally my split S into a dive would look like, is I would split S like this, and if I don't add throttle, that's what I'm doing. I'm going right past that bad boy. So what you want to do is when you get into that, again, you just pump your throttle for where you need. That was a sloppy one. That was a sloppy pump. Pause. And now, okay. All right. Okay. Editor, cut all that out. So yeah, you're just adding. Okay. All right. You're just adding throttle though to the split S. You're just adding throttle to the split S where you want to stop and head down. I'm overthinking. That's all that is. So you just add a little throttle, but I'm overshooting it from the jump. From right here, this is going past it. No shot am I going to make it that way. So what I do is I overshoot it every time, guaranteed to overshoot, add a little throttle. And then if you're having trouble on the way down into the dive, we can talk about that. When you're getting into a dive, sometimes if you're going too far forward in your dive, the way you can cut off some of that is just to roll. That's a quick way to do it. The other way to do it, if you're doing a very long dive, is to turn the other direction and hit your throttle lightly. So that way you're pushing yourself away from wherever you're at. So if you're close, like your lid is close to the wall and you want to get away from it, roll and then just hit your throttle slightly, just a little throttle, and that'll push you towards the center again. But it's a balancing act. A lot like trippy spins once you get into it. It's a balancing act. Spinning through a dive usually makes it a little easier because you can just kind of power drill your way down. So I usually recommend that if you're having a hard time keeping a dive straight. But once you get used to the angle that you fly at and everything else, and you can just feather your throttle, you could just do your dive straight after that, no problem. Usually I suggest hugging the back wall too. That's one other thing I'd say. If you hug the back wall, where like the bottom of your quad is up against that back wall, that gives you room to blip your throttle a little bit to move you away from the back wall on your way down. So if you're having trouble and you're too far back, you could always give it a little throttle. It's easier and cleaner than rolling and throttling. But anyways, those are some good pointers I'd say to get you started for sure.